Nu, micuțule, nu-ți fie frică de cheltuieli.
Best. Now it's working. Why the hell? Why is it? God damn it! And I. Okay, I think the cable is damaged. Because if I move the cable around, the microphone stops working. So now I figured it out. It wasn't the fact that there were updates to OBS. It's that the cable is old. I think it's like 5 years old or something. I need to buy a new USB cable. Yeah. Can you guys hear me? I hope you can. It's damaged. Yeah, you can. Was an excellent intro, by the way. €2 for sound DLC. I should do that. By the way, I'm going to say something very controversial now. Very, very controversial. Here's my take. You guys ready? Blizzard is responsible for burning the graphics card of the people in the Diablo 4 beta. Blizzard is responsible. Not legally, though. Morally. I morally condemn Blizzard. I'm looking at that company and I'm thinking, shame on you. And everyone else that defends them, I will say cope and seed. Because there is nothing you can do. This is the hill that I'm willing to die on. Blizzard is responsible. They should have tested their game. Period. When you're uncertain of something, you know, like when you know that you're on a position that's not very strong, you say period. And I said period. So now there's nothing you can do. There's period. Like there's nothing after the period. Can you sue Blizzard? You know, that's actually an interesting question. Maybe, I don't know. It's kind of like, you go to a restaurant, right? And if their food is rotten, like let's say their food makes you sick, and you're at a restaurant. Now, the restaurant, you know, they didn't poison the food. They bought it like that from the producer, so they bought it from the slaughterhouse bad, right? But it should have been up to the restaurant to investigate whether or not the food is good before it reaches your plate. However, there are additional laws that govern the restaurant industry, so I do not know if it applies. But it's the same prospect here, right? Like Blizzard creates a product that uses the hardware, and they should have tested it before releasing it to the public. They should have seen if their product is going to destroy people's hardware, which can be done by hiring like 20 chuckleheads on 20 different systems and getting them to play the game. So it is, but like the thing is, obviously is the manufacturer at fault as well, right? Like the manufacturer didn't do the graphics card properly, but that could have been avoided had the software developer tested the game. It's not unreasonable to suggest that people should test the product. What if it gives you a strobe? Right? Like, shouldn't the software developer test for that? I'm just asking. Yeah, test the game. I know it's bigotry. Like, why do that? You can have, like, an open beta, and you can have people test it for you for free. Like, why even pay them money? Do you have Diablo 4 on Apple? Oh, you need to thank Whoopi Goldberg for that. I mean, people were shocked. It's like, oh my gosh, she plays video games. Oh, she's like a human being. She's got hobbies and shit. Yeah. A lot of people are saying that they think it's a commercial. I do not think like it's sponsored content, right? Because they could have just hired her to do sponsored content. Like, they didn't have to do that. And secondly, no, like, I do think that she's a gamer. I mean, the woman writes comic books, and she also, what was it? Was in Star Trek. Right, so she was in Star Trek, writes comic books. I think, like, she spoke about World of Warcraft back in the day, like, years ago. So, yeah, no, like, genuinely, I legitimately think she's a gamer, especially because she plays on an Apple computer. I mean, that to me signifies that, yeah, okay, Whoopi Goldberg, rich millionaire, plays on an Apple computer. That seems legit. Why on earth do people even use an Apple computer? Like, does it even have anything? Is it like... Does it have a feature that any other computer does not have? I'm legitimately curious. Like, I do not understand why people use Macintosh. The only reason that you can use a Mac is to show that you're wealthy. It's kind of like a bling thing, like a jewelry. You know, like some people get golden chains around their neck. And I guess like some other rich folk get a Macintosh. But like, does it even have remotely a single advantage? Because I don't think it does. Imagine Whoopi Goldberg having her graphics card burned down during the beta. That would have been interesting. See? I have done software and hardware engineer, and I would blame the video hardware for any failures. Yeah, but like, you can blame two people. You know, they share the blame. Or at least one of them is more guilty than the other. So I would say that the graphics card is to blame, but I would also say that Blizzard is also to blame. I blame them both. Max RPCs for people who don't understand what a PC is. See, I would understand this logic back in the 90s. But now literally everyone has a PC in their homes. Like, is there a house without a PC? It's kind of like television. You know, when television became a thing, there were a couple of houses that had them. But like, most people didn't have a TV. Like, you'd actually ask, hey, do you have a TV in your home? But then as time moves on, everyone has a TV. It's like now there aren't homes without TVs. It's like one of the first things that you buy when you move into a house. A table and a TV. And then you buy a computer, right? So like, is there any single person that doesn't have a computer in their home or doesn't know what a computer is? I do not understand the logic. It's like, oh, well, Mac is for people who don't know what a PC is. Like, okay, yeah, I mean, maybe. And it's not even that user-friendly. It's not even that user-friendly, like, compared to a PC. Like, I would say that Windows is more user-friendly. Because I did hear this argument. It's like, well, why would you want an Apple phone rather than a Samsung? Because the Samsung is better in every single way. Maybe not when it comes to the camera, but, like, either than that, it's, like, a superior product and it's cheaper. And the response was, is the user interface. Like, allegedly, legend has it, by the people who sell you the shit, is that Apple has, like, a more user-friendly interface. And I'm like, okay, fine. But Macintosh doesn't. You don't have a TV. Yeah, but like, you don't have a TV because you use a computer. Stop being a smartass. You still use like some form of screen, which gives you access to like watching moving pictures, which is what a TV was. And now you replaced it with something more better. You know, it's kind of like people saying, well, I don't have a radio in my house. It's like, okay, yeah, but like you still have a TV, which like gives you the access to the radio waves. You don't listen to radio, but you replace the radio with another form of entertainment that's superior. Anyway, let me show you the Star Wars shit, right? Like this is something that I found interesting. So we don't know anything about the gameplay, but it's called Star Wars Outlaws. Official premiere. The official premiere isn't that bad, but like, my fucking god, I am noticing woke tropes now, and I can't stop. Like, I wish it was an off button, that I will go back to the time before I started my YouTube channel and do the critiques, so that I could actually enjoy a piece of mindless entertainment for what the fuck it's supposed to be. But instead, I'm like, oh, fucking hell, they went with the woke stuff again. So let's look at it.
They're everywhere.
Okay. So up until now, everything is cool, right? Like, I like it, I like it.
The world here belongs to the syndicates. I want to survive. I have to play their game.
The little animal shit. The little animal shit is bothering me like no tomorrow. Like, it screams Marvel. That's what the little animal shit does. It's not woke, by the way, but it's a trope that I'm starting to go like, ugh. You know, the other Star Wars, what was it? Jedi Outcast, Jedi Order, Jedi Final, whatever. You know, the one that didn't work. It had the little robot. This one has the little dog. Why does this need to be a little something? Why do you need to have like something cute in all these games? It takes away, like you established, this is what pisses me off, right? They established high stakes. They established like a really interesting setting, right? Like it's gritty, it's dark, but it's not like gritty and dark like Warhammer. It's gritty and dark like Star Wars, right? There's fucking war, right? So you're establishing this. You're showing people suffering. You're showing, you know, like, and then you're showing the cute animal. Like, why do you have to ruin the scene like that? Why must there be the fucking cute animal in every single goddamn Star Wars thing?
If I want to survive, I have to play their game. Looks like I'm all in.
She's in here somewhere.
On second thought, I'm out.
There she is.
Okay, so again, this is cool, but the little animal destroys everything in my opinion. CGI shit. I mean, the CGI shit, you can tell it's CGI. It has no weight. Like, the way it moves, it doesn't affect the environment that's on it. Like, if it sits on something, you don't like feel like it's a moving object that's sat on something. It doesn't get affected by the forces of physics. But like, okay, so this is just my pet peeve. I don't know. Like, let's see what the chat has to say. Does the chat like this? And before there's no sound, V. There's no sound. We didn't hear anything. Oh, V. They did hear. It's good. The little animal, it's Claptrap. I see. It's not for me. I know it's not for me. Check out the dragon game they showed. I will. Alright. It's not even like... I will tell you like what I think about my strong female in a bit. Right? Because we're getting to that point. But I don't know. Like, the little critter just bothers me. Right? And it's like this whole shot here.
I've been held back.
Look how cute it is. Oh my god, it's so fucking cute. I have seen this movie 45 times now. Like, there was the guy that went to Mars. And he was, like, really powerful and he could jump and stuff. And they had, like, a cute dog. Star Wars, you know, when you have the Wookiee with those little cute critters, you know, like the Disney shit. And then you have, like, the little cute robot in the last game that we talked about. And then Marvel, you have like the little cute squirrel, and now you have this. Like, you don't need to add something cute in every fucking entertainment video. Nice ass shot, by the way. Too bad they're not going to focus on it. But like, this is the problem that I have with woke ideology, right? Like right here, this is where it's woke. I've been held back my whole life. Okay, let's do this.
I've been held back my whole life. And now, I just need a chance to finally be free.
Okay, so my point with this, right, a woman being held back her whole life. If you're legitimately held back on your whole life, then fucking show it, right? Like, if you're a person that's held back your whole life, it will affect your psychology. It will affect the type of person you are, your whole life, right? Like, it's not that you've been held back a little bit. It's not that you've been held back in your previous job. No, you've been held back your whole life. You're going to be an introverted person, socially awkward, unable to articulate a couple of words. You're not going to be this overly confident person that can do all of this shit. You know, go on a motorcycle while people are fighting at you and do all of this parkour on a bike. You're not going to be able to pull this off. You know why? Because you've been held back your entire fucking life. You never got to do it. You know, you wanted to ride the motorcycle, but people held you back. You wanted to have a cute pet, but your mom said you're not allowed because it shits on the carpet. You wanted to play poker, but no one allowed you, right? This is what it means to be held back your whole life, and it's going to affect your self-esteem. You're going to be introverted, and you know what? It would be an actual interesting fucking character. I would love to play a game where the character is awkward, introverted, but then through some circumstance, she manages to actually, I don't know, like, get in an adventure or something, and she becomes what this shit is. But this shit, where she's like going on a bike and then fighting people, should be at the end of the journey. Do you want to know, like, a game that actually did that very well? It was the first Tomb Raider, the survival one. Like Lara Croft in the beginning, right? She's just an average girl that studied archaeology. So she's on this island, really scared. You know, the first time she kills a person, she pukes. And then, like, she starts to gradually accept who she is. She starts to gradually get into the adventures and stuff. And by the end of the game, like, she's actually like this. And it's a very interesting journey. It was a very good game. It received phenomenal praise. But that's what it means when you want to create a story with a person that has been held back their whole life. You need to show it. You can't just have the person go like, I've been held back my whole life. Now watch me how I win poker. Now watch me how I win the shooting duel. Now watch me how I win the bar fight. Now watch me do parkour on a fucking bike with a cute pet. I've been held back my whole life. Oh, shut the fuck up. So, you know, like all in all, the trailer doesn't show the gameplay, so I do not know how to judge the game. But like, from a story standpoint, it just really bothers me. It's like, all of this, the story, minority being held back. I have seen this story before. Now, at least show it to me if you're going to use it. Novi, women are just so strong that they can do anything. Then if they can do anything, why were they held back? Like, if you can do anything, you can bypass the gatekeeper, right? You can do anything, so clearly no one can hold you back. Superman cannot be held back, because he can actually do anything. What was it? The blue guy, Dr. Manhattan. Dr. Manhattan cannot be held back, right? Dr. Manhattan can do anything. He's powerful and can do anything, so he cannot be held back. God cannot be held back, right? Like, do you see what I'm saying? You cannot hold people back if they can do anything. It's paid by the numbers feminism. Yeah, fucking hell. Society just needs to realize you're perfect. You don't need a character arc. Again, like, I do not mind having a perfect character in a video game, right? Like, video games are completely different than actual classic movies or books. Like, for example, when you play Devil May Cry, Dante is fucking perfect. Like, Dante doesn't have any flaws, right? Like, I mean, you can't kill him. You can't do shit, story-wise. We're talking about, same with Bayonetta. Bayonetta is perfect. Like, story-wise, nothing can beat her, nothing can kill her. She's, like, already doing everything, right? It's fine in a video game. But neither Dante nor Bayonetta will complain that they've been held back their whole life. Because that doesn't make any fucking sense. It's made by Ubisoft. Well, fucking hell. If it's made by any AAA company is all I need to know. Like, are there any other good AAA companies left? I think it's like the one that made Pathfinder. But you do unlock movesets. That is true, you do unlock movesets, but I'm talking like from a story perspective. So a story perspective is different than the gameplay. You know, like when you get shot in a cutscene, it's actually permanent, but in the game you get shot a lot and nothing happens, right? Like that type of stuff. From a story perspective, Dante is already at the peak. Like there's nothing that can beat Dante. He's fucking Dante. And it's the same with Bayonetta. Like Bayonetta cannot be beaten. She's just OP as fuck. But it's fine because it's a video game. Now, if you made a movie like that, I don't know. Maybe it could work. I have no idea. Like you do not have the hero. The hero journey is also overrated, by the way. Like just because a lot of these movies refuse to follow the hero journey, it doesn't necessarily mean that you need to have it. Like Dragon Ball, for example, Dragon Ball Z, right? Like Goku is already strong and like he can beat everyone. But no, wait. Like Dragon Ball Z has the journey. One Punch Man. One Punch Man is a good example. One Punch Man doesn't have the hero journey, right? Like he already finished the journey. He's One Punch Man. But the characters around him is what makes it interesting. Like how would the people around him react? Right? Like if you have, right? So you don't necessarily need the hero journey to have an interesting story. I don't have autism. I've just been held back my whole life. Seriously though, this is a great example of ignoring the show don't tell rule. I know, right? But it's so freaking annoying. It's not even like show don't tell. Like you don't have to like do the whole thing. You can literally have the character say, "Well, I've been held back my whole life," but show that they're a fucking doomer You know, like the anime girl that got bullied, like in the Magical Girl website, right? Like you don't need her to say that she's been held back her whole life. I can fucking see it. And then when you actually show how she's being held back, I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ, what am I watching? What anime is this? What the fuck is wrong with people? Why would they make something like this? V held back by being a furry. Can you imagine if I wasn't, though? So the people around him go through the hero's journey? Compelling argument. I don't think like everyone goes around him goes through the hero's journey. It's more like there may be other people that are arrogant as fuck and they get humbled. Right? Like, that could also be part of it. But, let me think about a different example of anime where, you don't really have a hero's journey. I'll probably come back to it. But my point is, like, it's not necessary. Like, okay, so, if you have an anime, like, let's say, Devil May Cry, and there is no journey, but like the way he fights is very stylish. Like the way he fights is really cool, you know, like the way Dante fights pretty much. And then it just becomes like fight porn. Oh, Dragon Ball Super is literally that, right? So like in Dragon Ball Super, there's no fucking journey anymore because the story doesn't make sense, the plot doesn't make sense. But people watch it for the fights because the fights are interesting. It's kind of like, and I said this before, it's like watching a porn movie and you have like the girl who can't open the pickle jar and it gives it to the guy. And the guy opens the pickle jar and then they fuck. You know, like the story is just there in order to create like some sort of like reasoning for the fucking. But it's kind of like that in Dragon Ball, except that they need a reason to beat each other up, right? So there is no hero journey. The stream title more and more accurate and hilarious. I know, this is true though. One Punch Man has this hero journey. It's just that Saitama is the master that is teaching the hero. What hero? I don't even care. Like, is that even the focus of the thing? Like, do you really care about that cyborg dude? I genuinely don't. Isekais have no hero journeys. Yeah, like, isekais are the... Well, they kind of do, like, some of them, but, like, an isekai is kind of like the whole, Mexican soap opera thing of she has amnesia, right? Like there are so many tropes with telenovelas where the woman is like, oh, I have amnesia, I don't remember anything. That's a good way to start a story from the middle. Like, you don't need to start it from the beginning, right? And it's the same with the isekai. Oh, they just got teleported in this world and they don't know anyone and blah, blah, blah. And the things are happening. And it's so that you can start the story from either the middle or the finish. Yeah. So, anyway. You love the Cyborg Man? Good. Genos is important to the story. Yeah, maybe for you. I don't care. Who cares about Genos? It's just like, oh, look, he's powering up. Oh my god, he's flying around. But I know he's going to get his ass beat. Oh, look, he's trying. He's going to self-destruct. Oh, One Punch Man arrived. One Punch! Like, come on. This is like, fucking hell. Important to the story. You can have the One Punch Man without Genos. By the way, let me show you something that Walt Disney did. Right? And a lot of people are asking whether or not this is intentional. I definitely think it's intentional. You're not going to see it the first time, so I'll have to rewind to show you. Alright, so it's right here. Right? It's
nice.
Now playing. Right? Now playing. But if you go back and you're looking at it slowly, there are a couple of words that appear, that materialize before any other word, right? So as you can see, right, there is a little bit, a peculiar way. Let's put it like this: a peculiar transition. It's a peculiar transition, chat, which people have seemed to notice. Now the question is, was it done on purpose or wasn't it? My answer, it abso-fucking-lutely was. There is no way this got past production and people did not see it. What are the chances? What are the chances that, like, from playing now, the exact words that appear, like, what is the statistical probability of that thing happening? it was definitely 100% not on purpose. Now, I do not think that people were aware of it, like everyone at the corporation was aware of it. I do think, though, that there might have been an intern or someone that worked at the production of this day and decided to drop the N-bomb. There are no accidents. There isn't. Who and why? Good question. But, like, can you imagine, like, they did this and like, they had to edit it at the correct speed. They had to make sure, all right, well, we're going to just do it so that people don't see it, but we know it's being done. Yeah, this is the penis in the castle cartoon version, but, like, it's a little bit more edgy. See, because the thing is, if you put a penis in a castle nowadays, like, Disney would want you to see that. Like, they would want the children to see it. Like, they wouldn't want a one-frame reference. No, like, they would literally want to like, zoom in on it. Like, they would want the kids to, so that's not edgy anymore, right? But if you do this, now this is edgy shit. This is definitely... So
I
again...
I see it. I can't unsee it. Now.
See? Like, the lady is saying that she can see it, but she can't unsee it. So you have... Right, you got this. Tell me it's not intentional. And up. Like, what are the chances? What are the chances for this to be an accident? We have a friend inside Disney. It is / our guy / right. They were just lazy and used auto effects. Dude, what are the chances? It's playing now, right? Like, this is what they wanted to appear on screen, right? Playing now. How do you get, like, what are the chances that you literally get those exact 3 letters popping up? And no one noticed this, right? Like, it's just, it skipped production. I don't think it's accidental. I mean, there is a chance. There is a chance that it could have happened. There is an opportunity that, well, maybe, you know, like, accidents can happen, I get that. Very unlikely. Very, very unlikely. Because, and by the way, this is not like me, you know, like seeing Jesus in the tomato. Or like the social justice activists that see swastikas and hear dog whistles everywhere. I'm actually giving the benefit of the doubt, and I'm looking at it and I'm like, Anyway, there is an imposter among us. It was intentional. I definitely think it was intentional. Like, the statistical probability of that happening by accident is very low. Right. Let's talk about the important stuff. Summer Game Fest, no women on stage. Do you know how people have shared this to me? Summer Game Fest, no women on stage. On Twitter, they said the industry is healing. For an industry that struggles with diversity, the gaming industry struggles with diversity. Are you fucking kidding me? The Verge. This is the publication which wrote, I don't care if you landed a shuttle on a comet. Your shirt is sexist and ostracizing. They wrote that article. How can you say that the gaming industry struggles with diversity when half of the industry is in Japan and the other half is in California? Like, how much more diversity do you fucking need? Do you want the industry to be moved in South Africa? Like, when will you be pleased? The PC incident, also with The Verge. Yes. With the death of E3 nearly complete, Summer Game Fest has become the go-to summer event for gamers to get hyped about. Yeah, E3 was actually fucking diverse to the point where people were tuning out. Like, they had so many game journalists talk about all the social issues that people were tuning out. I remember, like, I actually tried watching E3 with you guys, right? I even had, like, live streams talking about E3 and stuff. It was 45 minutes of talking about shit no one gave a fuck. And then it was, like, 5 minutes of trailer. Followed by another 45 minutes of talking about shit no one gave a fuck. I remember when it was Ghost of Tsushima trailer, and you had like a white guy sing an instrument, and then you had like all the journalists going like, why did they hire a white guy? It's a white guy. Turns out like that was the only person on earth that mastered that particular instrument. Like all the other people that knew how to sing it were dead because it was like an ancient instrument, right? That's why no one watched E3. You poisoned it. You poisoned it. Yeah, E3 more like Z3 because people were snoozing. So anyway, this year's Summer Game Fest, which by the way, I watched Game Fest, it's more about the trailers. Like literally that was Game Fest. It's like, okay, let's talk about the games. Alright, like we got this game coming up, this is a trailer, right? So when you're going to play as Kitana, and you know, like you can choose a backup character, you can have like Jax. And let's watch some more gameplay footage. Back to you, Bob. Yeah, so that was NetherRealm from Mortal Kombat, right? We're going to now show you some Star Wars. That's what the summer game event was. And fucking hell, it was good because you actually get to see the games. Right? Like, I actually got to see the fucking game. The people on stage are an annoyance. Whether they're men or women, they are an annoyance. I wish they weren't there. I wish like you just show me the games, just trailer after trailer after trailer, and I would be happy. You know, your whole fucking event is cancerous. I do not want to see people. I genuinely don't. And I'm not introverted or anything, but you're trying to sell me a product, and I'm giving you the customer feedback. I am more likely to buy the product if I don't see anyone on stage. This right here, it annoys me. It takes away from the event. You understand this? I do not want... It's kind of like when you watch football, right? Like you watch soccer. You do not get to see the commentators. Like they are not in front, like they do not show a picture of the commentators, they just show you the game. It's kind of what I would like from this, okay? No men, no women, no children, no elderly people, just show me the fucking event. Smarmy people with microphones. Yes, I do not want to see this. I do not want to see. I do not dress like these people. I do not present myself like these people. I do not talk like these people. I do not feel represented. Oh, but they're cisgender, straight white man like you, V. I don't fucking care. Alright? I do not care. They're not like me. I'm not like them. That's fine. But, like, putting them on screen is not going to convince me to buy the fucking game. Look at them. They have a watch. Who has a watch now? If you have a watch, you're not like me. Because I don't have a watch. Like, literally, this is why... I don't care about your gender, your sexual identity, or your race. If you have a watch, you're not like me. Like that's the difference, alright? If you have a watch on your hand, you're already in a different class of people than me. Because I have a phone, I have a smartphone. Why would you need a watch? Why the fuck would you need a watch? Nick Cage wasn't annoying? I bet he didn't have a watch. I'm willing to bet Nick Cage. By the way, do you know like what's the most annoying thing now? Like even worse than having one watch is people that have two watches. Well, what do you mean, V? Who would have two watch? They have an Apple Watch, right? So they have a smartwatch, they have a regular watch, and then they have the watch on their smartphone. It's not that I'm not like them, I'm better than them. I'm literally like unable to connect with people. Like they're from a different world. They're from a different environment. They're like their mannerisms, their ideology, their personality is different than mine. And I know this just by looking at the fact that they haven't watched. Period. Like that's it. I'm so good at stereotyping, you have no fucking idea. I have mastered the art. You know, like the reason I can stereotype is because of woke people. Like they said stereotyping is wrong and I wanted to prove them right. So I went into the mountains and I trained myself at stereotyping for years. It was like an actual hero's journey. And by the end of it, I am so good at stereotyping that some people can claim that I see the future. A crafty Horgok, thank you for the 20 bucks. Fruit these people. Her example, I know a girl that thinks welfare and child support is good, but when it benefits her, but it's bad when it impacts her son. She does not understand what a contradiction it is. Well, no, because like people, you know, you assume that everyone wants fairness in the world, but there are people who legitimately want privilege. Watch is better than phone for seeing time. No, it's not. Fucking not. Jesus. There is no reason to have a watch, okay? And not to mention, how many times do you need to check the time? Like if you're in a profession where you need to know the time, right? Like every minute you gotta know what time it is, then I would make an excuse for you. I do agree that, okay, fine, like a smartwatch, if you want to measure your heartbeat, if you know, like fine, okay. But like an actual watch, like the one that my grandfather wore, abso-fucking-lutely not. Similar to Tom shoes or Adidas. Likely different kinds of people, especially if they are nice, colorful sambas. Man, the problem is, you know, like God created the woke, right? And the woke people walked around planet Earth confused. And they didn't know how to stereotype, and they assumed other people don't know either. And this got me on the hero's journey when I traveled to the mountains and I found the Buddhist monk. And he taught me how to stereotype, and from that day forward, it's like I'm seeing the future. Like, it takes me literally 5 seconds to look at a person and I know almost everything. I know that person better than they know themselves. And this is my superpower, is the power of stereotyping. See, the left listens to dog whistles, they listen to all that type of stuff. I don't. I just stereotype. I know there's no camera. I closed this so I can drink some water. I don't want you guys to see me drinking. I'm ashamed. I'm ashamed of my drinking habits. Hold on. I will show you. There we go. I hate the Rolex. Yes, I do hate the Rolex. And not to mention, there is no fucking reason why watches should cost as much, right? Like back in the day, they had to make like watches by hand. Like you had the watchmaker, which had like that like big magnifying glass thingy, and he would look through it, and he would have like these tiny things, and it was very difficult to make a watch. Right now, you can make a watch using machinery, like. When you make a processor, which is like, not even, we're not talking about quantum processing, but like the modern processors, which are like a lot smaller and more delicate than watches, and they don't cost as much as a fucking watch. There's no reason why watches should be this expensive, right? So like, no, I do judge people, but like if you buy a Rolex, I will judge you even worse. It's literally like the type of people that have so much money, but they lack the e-penis. You know, like the e-penis is to show other people your gear score. It's like, look how much I played. Look how invested I am in the game, right? Like, just look at it. Look, admire me. That's what the watches are. Yeah, you get a Rolex to show off how much money you have, right? So if you're the type of person that feels the need to show how much money you have, we don't have anything in common. Like, nothing. At all. And regardless if you have more or less money than me, that's not the fucking point. If you need to display that you have money to me or to the world, then I do think that you're overcompensating for something. Maybe you have a little pecker. I don't know. But I genuinely do know that me and you are not going to have very much in common. If you're the individual that needs to show the world, look how wealthy I am. The same thing goes for credential studies. If you go around and you're like, oh, so I'm a PhD in such and such. Or the people that even worse don't have credential and they go like, as a minority woman, they're like, okay, I don't care. And literally, like, if you have to say, as a cisgender straight white man, blah, 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 I don't care about the blah, 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 because I don't hear it. It's like background noise at that point, right? Like, if you have something to say, then fucking say it. I do not need to know the credentials you have. If it's something that's proper, it will stand by its own. If you feel the insecurity to like, oh, well, as a doctor, I can blah, 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 blah. Okay. What if it's from your grandparents who wore it down from generations? Then I will stereotype you still. I will stereotype you. I'm sorry, but it will happen. I know you say it's unfair, but I will get you stereotyped. If you wear a watch, you get stereotyped. There is no ifs, there is no buts. It is the inevitable. Drinking is a good coping system. Hard work. It is true. Women are attracted by status. By the way, I'm not saying that you shouldn't wear expensive watches. Like, there is one exception where you need to display wealth. It's kind of like a bird that needs to display its feathers. When you're dating, right? When you're a teenager and you're dating, yeah, by all means, get the iPhone, get the Google Watch, get everything, right? Because like you need to display your feathers. That's fine. But after you finish being a teenager, right? Like when you're a grown-ass man and you already have a girlfriend or you're married, you need to stop doing this shit. Stop displaying the wealth. Just stop it. No one cares. I had like another content creator, which is my age, and he's also married, and he wanted to buy a Ferrari. And I'm like, what the fuck? Why? You're married. Why are you getting a Ferrari? I don't really... Anyway, humans need to pursue status as an instinct. You can have status without showing you have a watch, right? Like yeah, it's kind of like in Game of Thrones. You don't need... Like any man that says he's a king is not really the king. Throughout the almost 2-hour showcase, host Geoff Keighley brought up a number of personalities to interview on stage. He had industry veteran Ed Boon, Nick Cage made an appearance. Dead by Daylight? Why does Dead by Daylight have Nick Cage? The lack of inclusion is particularly jarring because a great many of the games included in the showcase itself feature female characters. Okay, so... You know, like, do you notice that inclusion only goes one way? Like, if you were to have a male character and a woman is presenting the game, they wouldn't care. I don't care either. I don't fucking, like, again, like, in my opinion, these people shouldn't even exist. I don't want to see a stage. I don't want to see people talking. Just show me the games. Immortals of Avium stars Gina. Alan Wake, as Suits Frame Alan Wake presentation, had a woman prowling in the dark. For an industry that struggles with diversity. Again, if the gaming industry struggles with diversity, diversity cannot be achieved. Like, it's an impossible standard, might as well give up. There's no fucking way you can tell me that the American gaming industry struggles from diversity. The Verge must struggle with diversity. I mean, The Verge, I'm willing to bet, is less diverse than the gaming industry. There is no fucking way they have more diversity than the gaming industry. To be clear, this is not only Mr. Keighley, while he does have a responsibility to ensure his show reflects the diversity of its audience. Why is there a... So like, okay, fine. In Japan, there is this bizarre culture. You know, like, okay, hold on, let me... Do you know how in America, you have the pejorative word weebs, right? Which is like people who try to mimic Japanese culture. Right, so like they will buy manga, they will buy anime, they will like try to use a couple of Japanese words, even though like they don't really, well, kind of like me, I guess. But yeah, so everyone knows what that is. But like in Japan, you have the reverse. You have Japanese people who try to be American. So like they will LARP as cowboys. It is like their version of what they think an American is. But they will LARP as cowboys. They will watch American classics. They will listen to American songs and stuff like that, right? Now, let's assume that you organize such an event and you have like Americans in the audience, right? Like a Japanese person who likes Western movies and cowboys and stuff, organizes an event and Americans come to the audience. Does that mean that he needs to get Americans on stage as well to represent the Americans in the audience? I don't think they fucking do. You know why? Because the Americans coming there, they went there because they knew what it's about. It's about Japanese people trying to reproduce American culture. So if Americans go in the audience, I do not think it's the responsibility of the Japanese to represent the Americans on stage. It's kind of the same like if I go to Japan and you know, like let's say I bring 100 other Romanian friends there and we all go to like some VTuber expo. Right? And now there's like a diversity in the audience because all of a sudden, you know, like in Japan where it's only Asian people, you now have like Eastern Europeans going in there. I do not think that the Japanese event organizers have to now hire Romanians so that we can feel represented. Does that make any fucking sense? Because to me it doesn't. Like, who made this ideology? Why is it popular? Why do people not even stop to ask, what the fuck are you talking about? This is so fucking bizarre. What are you on about? What are you smoking? Like, it's supposed to present video games. That's what it's supposed to do, right? Who gives a shit if it's a man, a woman, a child, or an elderly person? Not to mention, this used to be as a joke back in the day. Like, this was hyperbole, but now in 2023, it's legit. How do you know how the people on stage identify as, huh? Like literally, you can have one of these people. All they have to do is to say, I identify as a woman, and it's checkmate. Now you have representation. I mean, in 2023, it's literally all it takes. Like back in 2020, or even before that, in 2015, if one of them was trans, they would at least have to try and pass. Like, that doesn't matter how, but usually, like, they would have to dress in feminine clothing or have, like, some Dylan Mulvaney feminine traits, and their mannerisms and stuff. But now, that's not even required. Like, all they have to do, actually, they don't even have to say they're feminine. They can just say they're non-binary. Like, one of these two people can say, well, I have they, them pronouns, and there you go. You have diversity now. Fucking hell, it's so bizarre. I do not understand, like, how people get along with this ideology. It makes no freaking sense. Like, it's never explained. It's never explained. Like, first of all, gamers struggle with diversity. By what metric? By what poll? By what statistic? Representation matters. Like, you keep saying this because you're afraid. Like, it doesn't, but you keep repeating it over and over again. Representation doesn't matter because you assume that groups hold power and that groups behave like a family, right? So just because there's just because this guy on stage is a cisgender white man, that he shares power with me and he cares about me the same way as my family does, right? Like, this is what you think. But the reality is different. Individuals hold power. Like, this guy with the watch is not going to give me money even if I'm stuck in a ditch. He's never going to help me out. He's not my friend. I don't know him. He doesn't fucking represent me. American Outlier from the comment section probably represents me more than this chucklehead. Mr. Kelly, you can feature women on your shows. And by the way, like, the concept, like this is what bothers me, right? Like, this is what bothers me a lot. You have a corporation, right? And they now have political identities and political talking points and stuff. And they think that if the corporation hires a man to be the spokesperson, that's bad. However, if the corporation hires a woman to read from a prompter, that's representation. That's literally what they think, right? So like, the person that reads from the prompter, because, like, these people, all they do is staged, right? Like, it's not like they go on the stage naturally and they talk about things that they want to talk about, and, like, no. All of this event is staged. Like, they have talking points. They read the things that they're supposed to read. If you put a woman there, even if you were to go with the idea that she's representing, she's not, because she just has to use the talking points of the corporation. And most corporations are overwhelmingly ran by men. I don't think, like, there's a single gaming company, actually. Please correct me if I'm wrong. But like, the last time there was a female CEO at a gaming company, it was in Blizzard, and she quit. So I genuinely, like, do not understand the point here. It's like, oh, what, there's no representation. Like, the corporation didn't hire a woman to do the speaking. And you can actually notice with Gina Carano, like, the moment she started speaking for herself, they fired her. So, but anyway, struggles with diversity. I want to see how the gaming is struggling with diversity. This is an article from 2022, right? So you go back 1 year. And you're excited because Overwatch has a black character. Yeah, so a video game, which I would like to point out, pretty much conned people into believing that there's an expansion pack, like some people paid for it. You don't get anything. Right? There's no PvE. They barely released any characters since the launch of the expansion, quote unquote. Right? It's not even an expansion, they call it a sequel. In reality, it was just a patch. And your focus as the game journalist, which should hold these companies accountable and should be on the half of the consumer, your focus is, oh my god, they have a black character, oh my god, you can't even see her when you're playing, right? Because it's a first-person shooter. You don't even see the character. And like, in a title which is gaming is struggling with diversity, you're actually showing the industry giving you what you want. That at least show a game that doesn't have it, but oh, you can't, because every single fucking game has it. Every single company is on board with the ESG bullshit. And look at this, the authenticity. Authenticity. Sojourn is a black Canadian. It's cold in Canada. The new Toronto map will be freezing, and yet her legs, oh my god, her legs on it. You can't see it? Now you can, right? Like this. It's cold in Canada. The map has ice. The map has ice, and yet this fictional character is not even right. This fictional character with has bionic arms and shit, and she can glide and she can take bullets to the head and still survive because she's not real. She's imaginary. But Demo, Shikushi, the ice, the snow, the cold. Oh, God, these people. These fucking people. How did they not manage to become the laughing stock of the internet? Baffles by Bray. V needs donations to buy a second. I will never buy a second monitor. It will not happen. Companies will have to choose between ESG and customers. Man, I hope you're right. I genuinely do, but the more time passes, the less hope I have. Yeah, literally. But it's so cold. It is so cold. Interestingly, how they do not complain about the male characters, right? Danzo, for example, has no shirt. He's literally naked. He's just naked. I guess he is warm. You know what? You know why he is warm? Because he is rich in spirit. He has a warmth of the heart. Censorship. You're not allowed to make fun of these people. No, that's not the case, right? They can't censor all of us. Like there was a time, and there still is, with Bud Light, for example, right? With Bud Light, they literally tried to censor the controversy. I remember when it first came on YouTube, there were, I think, 3 or 4 channels that got videos struck down because of the Bud Light thing. And it didn't have to do with protecting Dylan Mulvaney. It had to do with the fact that corporations don't want to get backlash because they're doing their ESG stuff, right? You want to get loans without interest from the ESG investors, but at the same time, you don't want the public to give you backlash. So you want both of them, right? And they were afraid that what happened to Bud Light can happen to other companies. So they started removing videos from social media that talked about it. But because there were so many fucking people boycotting, and eventually the media was talking about it, they couldn't just take down every single video. So no, if literally everyone would mock these people for whenever they say something stupid, then you wouldn't have them saying stupid stuff. Believe it or not, human beings do not enjoy when others laugh at them. When the game journalists went downhill, it's a little bit complicated. I think it was an incestuous relationship between gaming companies and game journalists. It wasn't the game journalists that necessarily became evil overnight, but it was companies that started working with the journalists, giving them early access, giving them early reviews, having payola, doing the implication that, hey, I'm going to let you play my game earlier, but you best give it a good review. And that's when the cronyism started happening. And then with the indie games coming up, the journalists realized, oh shit, well now there's an entire industry of indie games, so we have a lot of power here. We can literally decide we can literally decide which indie games we talk about and which ones we don't. One of two. As an American, it is communism plus division. Ideology over equality under the law. Discrimination for representation. Yes, it is. Kickbacks. Yes, kickbacks. There's even a word for it. Kickbacks. No, it started way before Gamergate. Like the whole reason Gamergate started, it wasn't because of Zoe Quinn or anything like that. It's because there was so much thing that the game journalists did, like the Dorito Pope and other things, that were getting gamers really pissed off. Because it used to be that the game journalist and the gamer were the same person. right? Like the game journalists from the beginning, they enjoyed playing video games, they did it as a hobby, and they actually cared about the consumer. They literally cared about, well, what the masses think. But then, as the kickbacks start happening and the game journalists become more and more corporatized and they start working with the AAA companies, they stopped caring about the consumer and they only cared about getting clicks and outrage bait and stuff like that. And gamers were having enough because they could see that thing happening. Good things are good and bad things are bad. That's not necessarily true. I mean, like, Pepsi Cola is bad, but I still like to drink it. Smoking is bad, but people still like to smoke, so on and so forth. There could be bad things that are good. Eating your vegetables is bad, but, like, people eat them because it's good. The boycott works. Yeah, I'm curious if it's going to work for Call of Duty. I do see a lot of people invested in it. Tim Pool coined it Call of Groomers. I do not think it's going to work, but maybe it can affect their microtransactions. And if it does, we won't hear about it because they're not going to release that to the public. Like they do not, you know, like the last thing you want to do is like, hey, we as a company, yeah, it affects our microtransactions. Yak, keep doing it. I think Kane and Lynch 2 was the crossing point. Kane and Lynch was a very interesting game, right? Because it actually looked really well. It was really amazing, but it was so fucking short. Like Kane and Lynch, what was it? Like 4 hours gameplay? But I'll tell you this, you know, at least Kane and Lynch actually ran. Like you could actually run it, unlike the games that are coming up now, and they don't work on day one. Kane and Lynch would be a great indie game. I forgot how hard YouTube chat is when you're trying to do other stuff. What other stuff are you trying to do while you're watching my stream? Huh? Shame on you. You should just watch my stream. Right. We got 3 more minutes. Gamergate didn't start at all. Gamergate was actually left-leaning people. Like I've looked at some of the previous political compass maps that were released, and you have like thousands of people releasing their political compass map. There were very few right-wingers, surprisingly. Like Gamergate was literally the moderate leftist. So there were like people in the center. There were some people that were right-wing. The actual right-wingers, they fought Gamergate. They were like GG Revolt, right? So it was like the Gamergate was a revolt against the game journalist, and GG Revolt was a revolt against the Gamergate movement. But GG Revolt did jack shit. Like eventually everyone left. You know, all the moderates and the leftists left, and GG Revolt had the whole movement for themselves. What exactly did they do? Nothing. To be honest though, Gamergate couldn't actually do anything, right? Like they caused some damage and some PR bullshit to some gaming companies, but unless you create your own alternatives, then no, you can't. And I think like Comicsgate was the one that actually did it because they started their own comics. But like no, Gamergate didn't do anything. And they couldn't, right? Like what can you do? You know, just not buy video games? Anyway, from what I hear, Kane and Lynch 1 didn't run, it mostly crashed. If you had the pirated version. But if you had like the legit version, it worked just fine. I played Kane and Lynch 1. It worked. Overtone window has shifted. Moderate left means right wing now. Correct. But like a lot of right wingers, a lot of leftists also became right wingers because you know, there's so much shit you can take until you're like, well, fuck this ideology, and then you move on. Right, so, thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it, and hopefully I'll see you again tomorrow.